Hello, this is Diana. This is my Trailblazers of the Universe YouTube channel. On my channel, I'm helping you fearlessly and unapologetically live your best, most authentic life. I am helping you break through your barriers and transcend any limitations you may have. If that sounds good to you, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. Today's inspirational message is to handle conflict through your heart space as opposed to your ego. Conflict is a part of life. Conflict isn't always bad, and in the relationships that you have with people, we're not always going to be on the same page as someone else. Every person is literally their own universe. They have their own thoughts, beliefs, emotions, even trauma, memories, experiences that all shape who they are today. What's important in a world full of polarities, which I would highly recommend to watch the podcast that our Life Theories crew made on staying neutral in a world full of polarities. We had a good conversation. So we have the extremes, right? People really like this, really hate that. People really want this, really don't want that. I mean, we just had the election where I don't think it could ever be more clear of the polarities and split on this planet. And that's what we're trying to overcome here. The shift of frequency, the shift in consciousness is for unity consciousness, not separation consciousness. And all these polarities are just pulling people emotionally in other directions, causing extreme emotions like hate, grief, even joy. On the flip side, right? A lot of people are so focused on the separation between other people, between race, genders, political parties, economic status. I mean, and that's all done by design. If we want to have more union consciousness and work towards harmony and balance on this planet with others instead of more conflict and war, we have to understand that there's always going to be conflict between people, between groups in our world. And conflict is healthy because there's always going to be differences between other people. Like I said, you're dealing with a whole different universe, and there's how many people on this planet? And what I'm finding, even in my own personal relationships, which is something that I might have struggled with in the past, is seeing conflict through the eyes of understanding and dealing with conflict through the heart space, through more of a space of understanding rather than to be right or just talking to talk or, defending your ego. And even that, who's right, who's not. You can have multiple experiences exist at the same time, multiple truths, multiple polarities. All is one. Everything is connected, right? Where are you putting your energy from? Or as my friend Solomon King would say, how are you polarizing? Like which side? And you don't need to polarize. So when you see conflicts come up in the world, instead of trying to be right, instead of arguing, instead of attacking the person, instead of having more of that masculine energy, even your ego needing to be right or wanting validation, if you could just observe it all and find balance, like observe, hey, I can see this side, I can see this side, but this is what I'm choosing, or how can we make this better? I see your perspective and I see my perspective. I understand where you're coming from, but I understand where I'm coming from. And I can see how there's a difference here or a discord. When you can listen without just responding just to respond, actually listen to someone else and their perspectives, you can work towards having peaceful resolution and harmony and balance in your relationships and in the world around you. The more we can do this instead of attacking people, instead of just needing to be right, and often that just causes anger and like resentment and basically everything on more of the negative polarity, right? So when you can just observe it all, allow all exist at the same time, and to observe it through the eyes of understanding and through the heart space and having compassion for other people, that hey, maybe this person has a different experience that I have. Doesn't mean I necessarily agree with what they're saying, but I can maybe understand it and try to work with them in harmony, having solutions instead of being part of the problem, right? Instead of causing more chaos and more disharmony, a healthy conversation about something where we can listen and talk equally, have the intention when you go into these conversations of conflict to have peace and balance, harmony, unity, instead of separation and polarities and extremes. Observe all that is existing at the same time and seek to understand instead of more chaos. Now, I always say there's divine order chaos, but if we can each do this on the planet, like seek to do that instead of just fighting with someone that has different belief systems than us. We can make the world a better place, and it's not going to happen overnight, but if we can seek to do that more in our everyday lives, in your relationships, and the relationships even that you have the most conflict in, family members, romantic partners, co-workers, whatever, business partners, you know, you're always going to have conflict, but it's not really about the conflict itself. It's about how do you handle the conflict. So handle it more for the heart, from the heart space, and see the connection with them. See how maybe you're similar, maybe even similar to a past version of you, or vice versa, rather than through separation and through ego. If we want to change this planet, we need to also step more into the feminine energy, be more receptive, not so aggressive, more receptive and open and understanding, and seek to have peace, balance, and harmony in our relationships instead of separation, chaos, and disorder, negative emotion, getting all heated. Also, to not deal with conflict when you're mad, because sometimes when you're mad, you're angry, you're not seeing clear, you're not very grounded, you're just maybe reacting from an emotional state instead of a more grounded and stable and balancing your logic and emotions and your intuition, rather than just dealing with this conflict straight on, like being angry or triggered. Usually nothing good comes from that. It does help to also take a step back, take a step away from the situation, reflect more, take some time to yourself, ground yourself, meditate, breathwork, like do whatever you have to do to be more grounded and calm and stable, and then you speak to it from that place. It's easier to speak to from the heart space when you're more grounded and stable and not angry, right, and emotional and triggered. So this is something that has helped me deal with conflict in a healthy way and actually have solutions with conflict in different aspects of my life, different relationships I have in my life, rather than the opposite, which is, you know, damaging relationships and building up resentments between people, basically causing more problems than solutions. If you have a conflict in your life today with someone, I don't care who it is, the next conflict you come across in your life, see if you can apply that and handle the conflict more through the heart space rather than through the ego, and let me know in the comments how it goes. Or maybe if there's a situation that you did do that and what the result was, and if the relationship improved or not. That's all I have for today. If you like this content, hit those like and subscribe buttons. I also have a Facebook group, Instagram, TikTok, and 2 podcasts. The links are in this video description. I also offer coaching if you need intuitive guidance to support and motivate you on your healing, spiritual, and or self-improvement journey. My contact information is in this video description. Have a good day. Namaste.